My dear friends, what does it mean to be wise? What does it mean to follow the right path in life, to flourish and live a fully human life? Conversely, to avoid all that tears down life and destroys our humanity. I believe that the answers to the questions that most move us, that most distress us, that we most want to have answered, answers to these questions can only satisfy if they speak to the whole of our being, our reason and our emotion, our head and our heart. Imagine someone dealing, for example, with profound grief. A scientific description of this situation is neither helpful nor relevant. The task is to discern meaning, to find some way to make sense of what has happened, to make sense of life itself. And that is the fundamentally religious task. The only way that I know of to make sense of the pain of our human lives is the way of faith. It does not provide every answer, but it does provide the tools with which we can carve out answers for ourselves if we would but try. For the religious perspective is concerned most of all with the matters of the heart. Now, I don't mean that it is an irrational viewpoint, which is the attack sometimes made by the secular world against those with faith. For the truth is that without our emotional life, reason is sterile and deathly. And our world has become progressively more sterile and deathly as a result of the worship of science in our culture. The development of our emotional awareness, our emotional intelligence, learning the highways and byways of our hearts, this is the path of wisdom, the path of faith. Now, in last week's Old Testament lesson, which was from Proverbs, we were told that wisdom was with God at the creation of the world, and that was where the language that we heard in John's Gospel, that all things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made, that's where it comes from. And here we get to the heart of the matter. For the Christian claim is that Jesus is wisdom incarnate. In him we see what wisdom is, what human nature and future are, and we know that wisdom through loving him. And that wisdom is a glorious thing. Which brings me to today's reading, the transfiguration. Jesus is revealed in his glory on the mountainside to his beloved disciples, Peter, James, and John. At last they can see. Let's for a moment imagine the response of a scientific method here. Perhaps it'll be with Peter. Let's build some homes for Elijah and Moses. Let us attend to our practical affairs. Or perhaps it'll be more critical. Come, let us take Jesus' robe. Let's see if it really is blinding white. Or perhaps it'll be a business-like approach. If we study it enough, we can establish how it has come to change so completely and develop, let's see, a new brand of washing powder. Mountain white, give your clothes that shine of glory. Our world is such a miraculous creation. God is present everywhere, all the time, here and now, yesterday, today, and forever, if only we have eyes to see him, if only our minds are open, if only our hearts are free to respond to the love that reaches out towards us and calls us home. The disciples have their windows opened, and they see the glory of God revealed in the face of a human being. They are able to see this glory because they have followed Jesus. That is what makes them disciples. They love the Lord, they have responded to his call, they are doing what he commanded. And in doing so, they are becoming wise. And in becoming wise, they are sharing in God's glory. For it is our calling too. The miracle of the Transfiguration isn't just that it reveals who Jesus is. The Transfiguration happens in us. We are the ones who are transfigured. If we see the face of Christ revealed, then the face of Christ within our deepest selves wakes up and seeks expression too. If we allow our hearts a place within the divine economy, putting reason into its proper place and seeking the path of wisdom, then God will work with us. The grace of God will go with us and help us share in his glory. For remember, the creation waits with eager longing for the glorious liberty of the children of God. That's us. That's you and me, each of us. We are each called to be glorious. Glory is what we were made for. Glory is what we are called to. Glory is what we most want to be. May we be given the grace and the wisdom to make it so. Until we meet again. Amen.